Hi, I'm Jennet Ingle, the happiest musician. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and click subscribe for me. That way you always know when I drop a new episode, and it becomes easier for other people to find my channel and to become themselves happier musicians. Thank you so much. I wanted to talk today about entrepreneurship. What is it, actually? I was doing a teaching residency this past weekend. One of the students asked me, but how did you learn how to be an entrepreneur? How did you figure it out? It can't just be easy, can it? And I've had other conversations in the past with musicians where they say, well, that's easy for you, Jennet, but I'm not entrepreneurial like that. I don't know how to do that. And I found both of those ideas so surprising because at no point in my career have I had any idea what I was doing. But I think looking at the portfolio career that I have built overall, I don't hesitate to call myself entrepreneurial. So many of the things I do are things that I have built for myself. So I thought I would think just a little bit about what it means to be entrepreneurial, what it means to me, I guess, to be entrepreneurial as a musician, and how to learn this skill. I think to me, what it means to be entrepreneurial is that I don't want to wait for somebody else to create the job that I get to fill. I don't want to wait for a school or university to desire to pay me to teach the kinds of things I want to teach, to do the kinds of things I want to do. I don't want to wait for my orchestra or for an orchestra to program concertos for me. I want to make these things happen for myself. When I started my reed business, I was not imagining growing a six-figure business that employed 5 people across the United States, that sent out the quantity of oboe reeds that I am sending out every month at this point. That's not what I was going for. What I was doing was providing a service for people who needed better reeds, needed reeds that they were not making with their own 2 hands, needed a better, more reliable source of reeds. I was helping people, and I wanted to get paid for it. I needed a little bit of extra walking around money at that time in my life, and charging for a thing that I already knew how to do, that I was already doing for myself, felt obvious, like an obvious choice. Were there things I didn't know how to do and that I had to learn how to do? Sure. I didn't know how to reach out to my audience and let them know that I had reeds for sale, but I figured it out. It was the 90s, so I wrote a letter to the oboists in the Chicago Union Book. That was an audience. They weren't looking at me, but that was a group of people who I knew might be interested in the thing that I wanted to do. And I reached out to them in the only way I knew how. I didn't know how to build a website, but I figured it out. In contrast to the late 90s, early 2000s, there are so many easy ways to build websites now. I didn't know how to take in money online and adequately report that on my taxes. But I did know how to hire a CPA. I even knew how to just go to H&R Block and ask the questions. I didn't know how to embed PayPal on my website, but with phone support and Googling, I figured it out. I didn't know how to nurture my audience and to keep myself top of mind for them. I didn't even know that that was an important thing. But I figured out after a little while that if I sent a newsletter, I got orders in response. So I started sending regular newsletters. I didn't know how to create content for that audience, but I started by answering the questions that they were asking me. I answered those questions in individual emails. I answered them in that email newsletter, and then I answered them by making videos about them. As that video channel began to take off and I realized that it was filling a need, that it was helping people. I started making more videos. I started getting a little more intentional about the beginnings and endings of my videos, asking people to subscribe, telling people where they could find me. But all of this, I just made up as I was going along. When I wanted to do solo recitals, when I wanted to have people show up and hear me play material that I wanted to present, I reached out to the colleges I was teaching at. I asked about using their recital hall. I reached out to churches that were in my area that had beautiful sanctuaries. I asked about using their spaces. I figured out how to do the thing. I sent invitations. I reached out to the people at the newspaper and said, hey, would you help me announce this? None of these things are rocket science. It's just you're filling a need. The need might be more live music in your local community. The need might be more high quality teaching for the students in your local community. The need might be better oboe reeds. You figure out what people need. You figure out how to let them know that you're offering it. You figure out how to price your services. It was not until the pandemic hit, actually, that I really leaned into learning more about these things that I was already doing, that I really took some coaching programs and had individual coaching and learned about online marketing and learned about launching and was able to put more words around the things that I was already doing and more structures around the things that I was already doing. And boy, did it get more efficient and better and more lucrative after I began to get support and after I began to learn what it looked like to do it better, to do it right. But I grew my business into six figures before that pandemic started and before I ever had the kind of help that I have now. So is entrepreneurship something that is foreign and mysterious that you need years of schooling to understand? No, I don't think so. I think it's very intuitive. I think it is a process of choosing for yourself what you want to do, how you want to help people, what that kind of service is worth, and finding the baby step way to make it happen. Now, if you find this confusing, if you want more help, if you need a little hand holding or a little bit of brainstorming support, like it's so normal. It's so normal. People like me, business and career coaching, mindset coaching for musicians, it exists. I can help you. Other people can help you too. But know that when one of us musician coaches talks to you, we're not imparting some sort of wisdom that you yourself could never figure out. In fact, what we're doing always is listening to you, listening to what you need and what you want to do, and offering suggestions to make it easier, to make it more efficient, perhaps, to make it more effective, perhaps. But there is not some sort of step-by-step, list-by-list technique to being a musician entrepreneur, to starting an income stream and making more money doing the thing that you already know how to do, that you are already expert in. There's not magic here. It's just figuring it out, trying things and allowing yourself to be imperfect and allowing yourself to fail if necessary. And if you want to do it faster, and if you want to do it with a little more confidence, and if you want to do it with a little hand-holding, reach out for help. That is what coaches are for. That is what Google is for. That is what teachers are for. If you see somebody doing something that you would like to be doing, you can ask them how they're doing it. And they certainly might answer, because in general, the world is a better place if more musicians and more creative people are thriving in it. We want to see you thriving. Thank you so much for watching today. If this has been helpful to you or interesting to you, please feel free, of course, leave a comment below the YouTube or leave a review in Apple Podcasts or in wherever you are listening to your podcast, because it really helps the show. If you would like to reach out to me to order a copy of my book, The Happiest Musician, to book a free discovery call to talk about what it is you are trying to do for yourself in your own entrepreneurial career, in your own creative career, you can find me at jennetingle.com. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.